check out this crazy story about a 12-year-old British schoolgirl who was punished by her school for celebrating her British culture on Culture Day.
A 12-year-old British girl was removed from school for celebrating Britain on Culture Day. All children at the Bilton School in Rugby had been invited to take part in the school's Culture Day, where a variety of cultural activities would be taking place to promote inclusion, understanding and appreciation of backgrounds, traditions and heritages, according to a letter sent to parents of the school.
Inclusion, understanding and appreciation of backgrounds, traditions and heritages, except British.
Pupils were invited to wear traditional cultural dress instead of school uniform as an opportunity to proudly represent their heritage. So Stuart Field's daughter came to school wearing the Union Jack in the form of a dress, but the schoolgirl was removed and Dad was called to pick her up.
Okay, well I can see how the school might think that her Union Jack sequin dress isn't really cultural dress. It's more like Spice Girls cosplay, right? But then, isn't that what cultural dress is though? Cosplay? Like what would I wear as a Chinese person? Should I wear a rice farmer's hat, you know, like what they wear in the paddy fields? Because most Chinese people today dress like anybody else. Lots of Nike and Adidas and Uniqlo, bit of Balenciaga and Loewe, right? That's Chinese cultural dress today. Or am I supposed to embrace the stereotype, the paddy field stereotype? I can't think of another Chinese cultural stereotype. Well, I suppose I could dress like an emperor, but that doesn't really represent the average person, does it?
He claimed she was told Culture Day is not for her as she gets to celebrate being British every day.
So let me ask all the Brits out there, do you feel like you get to celebrate being British every day? Or more suitably, parents, all the parents of British school kids out there, do you feel like your kids get to celebrate being British every day in school? And whether or not you do, regardless, what about us ethnics? Do we not get to celebrate our culture every day? Is it forbidden? Are we discouraged from doing that? I don't get that impression myself, being an ethnic.
Stuart slammed the school as woke lefty teachers who removed a white British 12-year-old girl for being proud of her country. She had been denied the opportunity to share her Culture Day speech, which her dad later shared online. She'd written, "Today I want to talk about my culture, British culture, and why it's important to me. In Britain, we have lots of traditions, including drinking tea, our love for talking about the weather, and we have the royal family."
Drinking tea and talking about the weather. Isn't that so cute?
"We have amazing history like kings and queens, castles and writers like Shakespeare. It's also modern, diverse and always changing, with music, fashion and food from all around the world blending into daily life."
This is a beautiful speech. She's acknowledging the fact that diversity is central to our British culture. It's one of the reasons why people have always flocked here from all over the world and have felt welcome and called this place home. And she didn't have to include this. She could have just focused on British traditions. However, what she's showing here is that to her, tolerance is a big part of what it means to be British. And that's a wonderful thing that should be applauded.
And let's not forget fish and chips. It's also the way we speak, our humour, our values of fairness and politeness, and the mix of old traditions and new ideas.
There is something so unique and wonderful about British humour, which I noticed as a child when I first moved here, that Brits take the piss out of everything and everyone, including themselves. It's that combination of being so boldly in your face, but at the same time self-deprecating, that makes British comedy so wonderful, like absolutely fabulous. That series could not have been made anywhere else.
But sometimes at school we only hear about other cultures, which is great because learning about different countries is interesting and important. But it can feel like being British doesn't count as a culture just because it's the majority. I think culture should be for everyone, not just for people from other cultures or backgrounds. Being British is still a culture and it matters too. It's part of who I am. So let's celebrate all cultures, whether they come from far away or right here at home. Thank you.
I totally agree. We should be able to celebrate all cultures, including British. But it does feel at the moment that celebrating British culture is frowned upon. But don't get me wrong, there was a time when it felt that the scales were tipped the other way. When I first came to the UK in the 70s, I felt totally invisible and isolated. I did meet loads of wonderful people who went out their way to welcome me and make me feel accepted, and they helped me to integrate. But at the same time, I got racially bullied every day, and my school just turned a blind eye to it, and I never saw any type of representation in the media except when we were being mocked. So it was very difficult being a Chinese kid in small town Britain in the 70s and 80s. But we've come so far since then, and this is an entirely different country now. It's now so diverse that in many classrooms, the white British kids are the minority.
The story sparked fury online, and Tory MP Andrew Griffith said the girl should have received a gold star rather than punishment.
Yes, absolutely. This girl should have received a gold star, not a punishment. What do you think?